Demetro, Senior Mastering Engineer, LAQUER Channel. You know if it's hot, it's on the boulevard.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy King Ness, host of Hiphop Boss on musicboulevardcanada.com. We're here today at LAQUER Channel Studios with our boy Phil Demetro, mastering genius. He's gonna work with everybody. I mean, everybody that's big in Canada. Some cats from the US. We're gonna sit down with them, do a little one-on-one action, find out everything behind the scenes of mastering, school you guys on what you don't know. So walking right now, we're gonna take a look in the back. You guys look around, you're gonna see lots of plaques, lots of signage on the wall from big names. Everybody that's been in here done work with this cat. I mean, I don't even have to big him up and say nothing. This stuff right here speaks for itself. Look around. So Phil right now is doing a little work. We're gonna walk in.
How convenient, right at the end of the song, too. Come on in.
The why you wanna be like me? You need to go to school, get your PhD. This life is made for all. Been a hustle since birth. I was made the ball. Everybody wanna.
Good to see you, man.
See you too, man.
Just working on the Golden Child track here, called Gangsta.
So this right here is the studio. Everything you guys see, this is where the man does his work. Hours and hours and hours every day. It's not easy for you guys. I think it's easy. So,
All right.
the track right now you're working on is Golden Child, you said? Gangsta?
Yeah, it hasn't come out yet. It's sort of, we're still in the process of. Usually with most hip-hop production, we tend to do various versions of the record. We'll do like a dirty version for release, then we'll have a clean version for radios and that type of thing, and then for performance we'll have TV tracks as well. So we're really sort of doing this about 3 times right now. So it takes a bit of time. So.
There's always a lot of work. How did you get into this business? I mean, the whole
Totally by accident, actually. It was I was working in the hospital, in a hospital really, in the psychiatric field.
Okay.
And you know, I would come home from work every day just wanting to do music instead, you know, thinking about, you know, how unsatisfied I was, and it was a tough job, right? Mm-hmm. Music seemed to be like it would be a lot more fun and fulfilling and satisfying. So I looked into going to school for it, because that's sort of what I was used to. And I went to a place called the Harris Institute, took a year there, and then at the end of the program they have like an internship for you. And then I had become familiar with this place through the head engineer and asked for a tour.
Okay.
Came in, and I just thought, you know what, this is totally up my alley. This is for me, you know. And basically, it's that was about 11 years ago, and I've been here ever since. So
For the cat, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't know the whole everything behind the scenes of mastering a song. They don't understand the process of it or why it's so important. Can you elaborate on exactly what mastering is and why it's so important to have it done?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of misinformation about mastering. It's been around for a very, very long time and as part of the technical process. But as technologies change, some of the things we do are different. Ultimately, the idea for mastering is we take a completed mix and we prepare it and get it ready for commercial release. So whether it's going to go to the radio, or a long time ago it would go to vinyl, it could go to CD. Nowadays everyone's uploading stuff to iTunes. The technology changes, but really what we're doing is the same. And the notion is that we take a finished mix that you've written a song, you've recorded it, you've mixed it, and now it's like, okay, time to bring all those elements, kind of tighten them up a little bit, get it loud, get it clean, get it clear, so that when you play it, people feel very impacted by it, and they'll love it because there's energy there, and it's like, I've got to buy this. So it became a way traditionally of kind of like tying in lots of songs together. There'd be a lot of urban productions which might have maybe 20 songs or more.
Yeah.
They may have different producers recorded at different studios. So the idea is to take all those different. Some of those songs could be very, very different from each other, but kind of put them together so it feels like they belong together, if you know what I mean. So when someone's listening to the record, straight through, it feels natural.
Yeah.
It's not like a roller coaster ride. One track is super loud, one's really quiet, one's bright or whatever. You want to make it an enjoyable experience, so hopefully they'll buy it.
Yeah, that's don't work with God knows how many people. And
Everybody.
yeah, and I mean, you've Masari,
Yeah.
Beanie Man,
Yeah.
Cardinal, and then a lot of projects you've helped work on have won Junos. Is there a difference between any genre, like when it comes to mastering, like let's say hip hop, and then you have a rock band with a single? Is there a difference when
I used
mastering
I
each
used to
song?
think there was. You know, when I got into this job, I wasn't listening to hip hop. I didn't know anything about hip hop.
Yeah.
I was like a total rock guy. And then all of a sudden, you know, we got a lot of hip hop records coming in. Like it just exploded, man. It was crazy. And I'm thinking, I'm sitting here going, God, what am I going to do? You know, like I don't really know this stuff, right? Is there, you know, I don't know the rules. And if you don't know how can you break the rules if you don't know the rules? So I'd be sitting down listening to the music. So I just started really kind of studying it and trying to find out what was happening. And I think there are certain musical genres which have certain qualities.
Yeah.
Country music tends to be very bright, not too much bottom end, you know, thinner. Rock, a little bit more like that, but maybe a little bit punchier.
Yeah.
Then you get into the urban world, and yeah, it tends to be a lot because it's very rhythmic.
Yeah.
You have to have a very powerful kick and snare, that type of thing. Now, from a technical standpoint, really all this stuff is just like a tone control.
Yeah.
It's just equalizers where I can boost and cut frequencies, and it's compressors where I can just kind of bring things in, make them feel more balanced, more in check, more professional sounding. So I'm using the same equipment on any genre of music, whether it's classical or an R&B song.
Yeah.
It's the same approach. My approach is I have to know my gear, which is not something you can do overnight. You have to. It has to remain unchanged for a long time to really understand the ins and outs of it. And then you have to know your environment and your speakers, so that when it comes out, you know instantly what you have to do or not have to do. And then you have to start turning knobs to get things to happen a certain way. I find that with urban production in particular, vocals have to be very clear. It's very vocal based, you know, usually the message is very important.
Yeah.
And I think people need to hear that, right? So I always try to get that vocal happening. And then really, as long as we're not doing any damage to the rhythmic elements of the mix, you know, we're probably we're winning, you know? Rock is more, you want to get it edgier and just, it's got to be really aggressive, you know? People like to hear guitars in rock. It's not so necessary about the vocal. The vocal's like another instrument.
Yeah.
But in the urban world, the star is the rapper, right? Or the singer. So you got to damn well make sure that vocal's happening. Otherwise, you're in trouble.
I ask everybody something along this line. You don't have to answer it fully if you don't want to, but is there anything, your most memorable or most favorite project that you ever worked on?
Well, I'll be totally honest. You know, there's a lot of stories, man, that happen behind these closed doors that I would love to tell you about. I would get in so much trouble if I told you my favorite stories. Like people would have to die for me to tell them without getting into trouble.